I mean, I've
Dobbs.
been a Dobbs guy for a long time,
Dude, fucking idiot.
dating back to the Wolf Pack.
Oh. And welcome back.
Welcome back.
Rough Draft Research in the house. We're back here. Man, last week was crazy.
Oh
In the
man,
AFC West.
high flying action.
Yeah, baby. We're back at it.
What's that intro? Did you guys work on that?
No.
That was good.
Thanks,
What?
dude.
Well,
We should do that.
I was going to say it was.
Yeah,
That should
man.
be the thing. I think I liked it. I dug it. I thought you guys planned that out.
No, man. That's all off the top.
This is it.
Well, we'll never be able to do that again.
I don't even know what we were doing, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
And here we are. Back
Sounded
at
good.
it. We're going to go
The-
back to NFC.
Yeah, man.
And we're going to the East.
Take it to the east side.
So you know we got to save the North for the last because it's the best divisions out there. You know what I'm saying?
That's right, man.
Holler.
Holland.
So we're going to go to the East, but before that,
We got to go back to the west, dude.
damn right.
AFC style. Yeah, man. Every time we got to throw back to the previous episode and tag in top positions for that division. So
Top division. I like that. Dude, we're doing well today.
yeah,
We
let's
just
stop and
acknowledging.
comment
Okay, yeah.
on
okay,
it.
okay.
No, it's perfect. Now, I have been tracing it a little bit, and we have been diversifying pretty well, where like each team has its own top position. So it's cool. It's good to see it's not as lopsided. I think we might be bucking that trend here with the AFC West, you know? So let's just start out by saying together as a family that Javonte Williams is the best running back in that division.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better than Austin Eckler?
We're our Dynasty podcast.
We are a Dynasty podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to say it out loud.
As long as Roundtree's not on the table.
Hey, man. Jesus. He might not be on the roster here in a hot minute.
If
But,
you had to go 1 year, Eckler's it's a lot closer of a conversation, but it's for a Dynasty podcast. I feel like you got to go Javonte.
Yeah, Javonte is like a young Austin Eckler, and that he's getting fucked around by Melvin Gordon right now. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hey, Melvin
Yeah.
Gordon came out today and said the coaches want Javonte to be the guy. That was
That's
Melvin
good.
Gordon's quote.
That's in his
Let's
contract.
go.
Yeah.
I'll take that every day, all day, man. I need something to hedge my Gibson stocks. But anyway, so that's a tough call. That's a tough call right there. I thought it'd be easier than that. Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just take it slow, take it easy, and we'll move on to tight end, right? Like this one's got to be Travis Kelce, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't even know what notable competition he may have.
Waller, but that's no.
Parham.
Everett, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
there it is.
Waller would be the closest guy, but I don't know. They don't feel in the same league anymore like they kind of used to, like 2 years ago
Yeah.
almost.
Waller's riding high on some single season action, whereas Travis Kelce makes it happen every day.
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
all right.
T. Kels
T.
all
Kels.
day.
Now, wide receiver.
Oh, baby.
Okay, so I feel bad because, like, no disrespect, Keenan Allen was finally going to be, like, the top dog, right?
Yeah.
But now it's got to be, it's got to be Devontae, right?
Yeah. Absolutely it does. I mean,
course.
they're around the same age and is Keenan Allen older? I can't remember. I know Devontae's 29 and
2013 was his first year, I believe.
So, and Devontae
2014.
was drafted in 2014. So,
So they're like the
yeah,
same
so
age.
he's a year younger. And then, like, I don't know, like, he's just been dominant for so long. And then he's going with Derek Carr. He's just the guy. I mean, he hasn't been injured the way Allen has. And I know Allen hasn't been injured in a while, and he's a beast. But yeah, I think it's Devontae's time to shine.
Yeah, college
More.
teammates, man. You know, I'm a sucker for college teammates.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now they've legalized sports betting in Kansas. I'm gonna have to make all kinds of prop bets, like season-long props. It's gonna be, I told my wife it's very bad news for our family, but she'll wait. It could be good news, man. We could be, get some new couches or whatever. Whatever people do when they win $40 on DraftKings.
I don't know. What are the odds for Olave?
Hey, he's not even
Winston?
my dude. Anyway, all right, I'm moving on. So quarterback. So it's Russell Wilson and Derek Carr and Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes. So it feels like I don't want to be a homer here, but I'm going with Mahomes on this one.
I don't know, man.
You guys
I
got
feel
Herbie
like I
and
want to be
Swervy?
the contrarian and pick Herbert.
I feel like I want Herbert too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the trajectory of the Chargers at this moment is more appealing to me. With the offensive line they're building and then the weapons they're keeping around him, the defense is going to be better. I don't know. I'm just more interested, I guess, and maybe it's because Mahomes has been the guy already for 5 years, even though he's still really young. So maybe that's playing into it. But I do think I'd rather have Justin Herbert.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to say exactly to defend Mahomes, but I feel like Andy Reid's got to be a big part of it for me.
That's fair. And I didn't think I thought I was going to be the only one picking Justin Herbert, so I'm surprised if we go with Justin Herbert. For the record, I think they're very close. Obviously, and like realistically,
I like that J-Palm action.
Yeah, cool, dude.
but I guess I don't know. I guess if we have to go, if we're doing it purely on who's better, fuck, that's still really tough right now.
Yeah, one of them has 50 wins.
How many
That's
interceptions
true.
last year?
Dude, the interceptions weren't that bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
think
you
that
probably
team
got to go
was-
Mahomes,
I
but
just feel like that KC team was so built on like bro chemistry, and I think it's fallen off the wagon, man.
No, dude. They're adulting.
Okay.
They're doing
I'm
great.
fine if we go Mahomes for the record. I just, like
this
I
really
said, I didn't think
Wasn't
AJ would
supposed
be
to
on my
last this
side.
long.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that.
Hey,
Heyo.
wow,
So-
Pat Mahomes, 13 interceptions. Justin Herbert, 15 interceptions. That's just weird. That is just weird that he would have.
Hey, we're talking someone about to progress, not regress.
Well, thanks, guys, because the whole point was that Travis Kelce and Mahomes would win, and then it wouldn't be one person per team in the division. But it just
Well,
so
we can
happens
do
that we're
it.
doing. No,
You're
man.
probably right.
2 versus 1.
Wait a
This is
second, you haven't
Herbert
even-
wins,
you
man.
even have- you haven't
Ducks
even-
fly together.
You haven't even let me present my let's ride argument.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wheels up.
No, I like Justin Herbert. I'd rather have them. You had the first overall pick. Would you go Mahomes over Herbert?
I'm going Josh Allen.
Damn right.
Yeah.
Shit.
Skull Bills.
Well, there's a preview for the recap. Well, all right. As fun as that was, we must move forward and we must progress to the meat and potatoes of this week's episode, the NFC East. And to start out, why don't we start with the most westerly team of the East, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, the NFC Midwest East here.
That's for the Southeast, West.
West.
So obviously, we all know Mike McCarthy is the head coach
Yeah.
of the Dallas Cowboys for now. So I thought with this diminishing wide receiver room, with James Washington going down, Michael Gallup maybe not even coming back in time for the start of the year, I thought I'd look into wide receiver coach Robert Price.
Okay.
I just thought that'd be interesting. Last year we talked about Kellen Moore. Let's change it up a little bit. So dude's got a 32-year coaching career, bopped around some colleges, landing at Boise State as a wide receiver coach in 2001.
Oh.
Worked his way up to be the 2003 being the passing game coordinator, where Ryan Dinwiddie throws for 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, has a wide receiver go for over 1,200 yards in college. Not too bad, not too shabs.
Pretty good.
2004 to 2011, it was kind of boring for him. He kind of toured through some NFL teams. He did land with the Atlanta Falcons and coached exclusively with Michael Vick that year. He went for 2,400 passing yards and 1,100 rushing yards. So that's good company. I like to touch on the legends that he the football legends. I'm not saying they're good people. But coming back around to 2011, he returns to Boise State, which is, yes, the senior year of Kellen Moore as the quarterback. So, side note, Kellen Moore throws for 3,800 yards, 43 touchdowns in 13 games. By the way, that was the Doug Martin year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
1,300 yards and 16 touchdowns. That was a pretty prolific offense, honestly.
Wow.
So then gets promoted to be the OC the next year. Nothing too crazy. They do go 11-2, but we're talking about a WAC conference, WAC.
Mountain West.
Well, that was when they were the WAC.
Oh.
Yeah, dog.
Wacky.
So in 2014, 2020, he was a wide receiver coach for the Detroit Lions. We're talking the Golden Tate Megatron years.
Ooh.
2018, 2019, we're talking about the Kenny G years, the Kenny Galladay years.
The Kenny G year. Yeah.
2 years, man. He went back to back over 1,000 yards. Another side note, in 2014, the backup quarterback for the Detroit Lions was Kellen Moore.
Wow.
So, 2021, he goes over to the Houston Texans, becomes the wide receiver coach there, where, I mean, Brandon Cooks went over 1,000 yards, but I think we know that was more Brandon Cooks than it was Robert Price. 2022, Kellen Moore gets him another job as wide receiver coach for the Dallas Cowboys. So we got a guy that exclusively worked with, the likes of Megatron, Elite Kenny G, Brandon Cooks. So maybe Tolbert's in good hands.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess it all depends on how well this line is.
We calling him Tolbert?
No, dude. Come on. The Tolbert report. I'll get back to you on that one.
Oh, that's
I like that.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Did you
A+
practice that?
for that.
I didn't.
I do. Can I
Smack 'em.
ask, are we the only podcast around still talking about Doug Martin? Because that's two
yeah.
come up in what, like 5 episodes? 6 episodes?
I was saying some strong shit about him in the longevity episode.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Doug Martin getting a lot of pop on
Muscle
the
hamster,
rough
dude.
draft research.
Yeah, dude.
Like-
Represent.
I mean, we remember the classics.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so offensive line of the Cowboys. I don't have a ton to say here. The offensive line of the Cowboys has been good for a while. Everybody kind of knows about it. They were the top-rated line by PFF at the end of last season. They start this year at number 6. The loss of Lyle Collins has a lot to do with that, obviously, but the reason they still stayed in the top 10 is that their replacement, Terrence Steele, played pretty well last year. If he continues to progress, they took a tackle in the first round, Tyler Smith. They can bump Tyler Smith into guard, use Steele to cover up that tackle loss of Lyle Collins, and then Tyler Smith is your emergency tackle. The Cowboys' offensive line is going to be fine for another year or 2 at least. So there's not a ton to say here. They're probably going to be a top 5. Their potential is to be the number 1 line at the end of this year as well. I doubt they fall out of the top 10.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty solid prediction considering it's kind of their bread and butter, man. It's kind of their thing.
Yeah.
And it's going pretty well, man. And a lot of people are benefiting from it.
Mm-hmm.
No one more than Dak Prescott, right?
Yeah.
So last year
Dak.
he finished as the QB8, and he topped out as the QB2 in 2019. So, you know, he's still top 10 in it. He's still doing good things. He hasn't really faded except for that injury year a couple of years back. But I'll get to that. I just wanted to say the Dak is coming into his own, man. So he started out the first 3 years of his career. He had the 6 rushing touchdowns each year. And then now he's stepping it up in the passing department, you know. So he was injured in 2020, but he was on like a record-shattering pace before that. If you guys recall, it was like a 5,900-yard pace.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was disgusting. So take that year out, and his last 2 full seasons were 30 touchdowns, 37 touchdowns, 4,900 yards, 4,400 plus yards. So Dak's doing great. He's obviously living it up. The line is taking care of him. And so, you get what you get with Dak. Like, it's going to be a dynamic offense, probably, the highest scoring offense in the league last year. So, can't regress too much from that. I don't think Amari Cooper was, like, solely the person making that happen.
Yeah.
So, I think, be happy with the Dak. Be happy with the Dak. I don't know if you guys have anything you want to tear him down.
Yeah, I guess on that 2019 season, is that like, do you think that's his peak? Like right there, or do you think he's gonna get back to that level? I'm just curious. I don't typically watch the Cowboys a lot, so I was genuinely just curious. Just because I was looking at his stats and I was like, oh, he was still really good this year, but his rushing went down, and I figured that the attempts went down. But in 2019 he had 52, and in 2021 he had 48. So we're only talking about 4, but the yards per attempt went from 5.3 to 3, like flat. And so that's like a huge jump. Just as somebody that doesn't watch the Cowboys a lot, like, does he look comfortable? Or is he still kind of getting back from that 2020 injury, and we could see him kind of spring back up to 2019, I guess is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I think that's 100% what it was.
Okay.
Was just nursing that. I mean, that was a pretty major injury, and to come back and be ready and play a full season.
I wouldn't be able to say. I didn't watch Dak enough to know, I guess. And so I was looking for that expertise.
Yeah. It was kind of and I'm not the Cowboys expert, but it was kind of a weird way that they ran the offense last year, where Zeke was like a big blocker. Like, he was a huge blocker to start the year, and they kind of played things a little safer, and Dak was more of a pocket guy, with more of a check down than a scrambling. But I think that a year removed, he'd probably get back into that.
Okay, cool. But, yeah, I'm literally just curious. Not something that I keep track of very heavily, I guess. I guess I should, but
you're gonna have to watch him now. I mean, I know that you just took Zeke in a Dynasty startup, so
yeah,
you're gonna have to check in on your investments, man.
What was that?
I guess so.
I forget.
What was that by week 9?
Oh yeah, 9. Yeah.
Okay.
And Mitchell. Yeah. Oh, and Javonte.
Yeah.
Oh, and Kareem Hunt too. They were on.
You nailed that 9, dude. Get them all out of the way. That's smooth. But I think that Zeke is going to be great for you, man. I think he's kind of unstoppable. What do you say about Zeke? Like, he's healthy, he's effective, he's efficient, he's doubling the red zone touches of Tony Pollard. Touches inside the 5. It's it was 12-2, so he's still getting those value touches. He's gonna come out and kick ass and get the high quality stuff. But with Tony Pollard in mind, I know for years now people have been like, "Hey, get your handcuff." And I'm not a handcuff guy. Like, I fucking, I'm more of a whips and chains guy. I don't do the handcuffs. But finally, Tony Pollard is coming out, and he's looking more like a 1C. I'm going to call him a 1C because he's not really a 1B. But he's coming off of this year where he was the RB28. So, he has standalone value regardless of Zeke's health. And when you talk about a diminished receiving core and the potential for Tony Pollard to, be in the slot, into running back sets more often, to be that dynamic playmaker to supplement some of the passing, I think that that's a pretty safe role for him, man. And he's coming off of career highs in touches and targets last year. So I don't see any reason why they would go away from that.
No, yeah, I'm with you. They definitely have one of the better split backfields in the league. And I'm with you on the Elliott stuff too. I think maybe he has a fall off, but I think the worst that would happen would be like, oh, he fell out of the top 10 and he's 12.
Yeah.
Like it wouldn't be this crazy thing. I do think it is worth just pointing out that he did have the lowest attempts per game of his career last season at 14, which was fairly surprising. But I'm 100% with you. They're going to use him at least for this last year. And then, yeah, Pollard should get the receiving work a little bit more, especially with the injuries and the loss of Cooper. I guess I just kind of repeated what you said, but yeah, it is what it is. I think you called it.
Yeah, I think that you bring up good points, though, because the usage is declining. His age is going up, and it's not going to last forever. This could be the last good year. This could be the last good 5 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a risky thing, which just goes further to make Tony Pollard look like a sure bet. You know, if you can get a top 30 running back that has top 10 potential, if there was some kind of a drop off for Zeke, then I mean, shit, you'd be crazy not to go that route. But speaking of routes, then this is another one where it's like CeeDee Lamb. Like, come on now, like, what do you have to say about CeeDee Lamb?
Yeah.
If we're just going to talk about the situation, there's 160 targets just off the Cedric Wilson and Amari Cooper vacancies, and then you've got a Michael Gallup who doesn't look to be healthy at the start of the year. So it's kind of we're gonna see like phases of this offense. That's kind of what I'm putting together in my mind. And like phase one is kind of 3 monsters, right? Like, and then CeeDee Lamb is one of them. Zeke is gonna be one of them. And then I've got a lot of high hopes for Dalton Schultz, which I'll get into that later. But you're really having, I mean, CeeDee Lamb's going to walk in and just be getting like 12 plus targets a game, pretty much all year. And that's locked in wide receiver 1 stuff. You know what I mean? So I don't really know how much to say about him. He was a wide receiver 19 last year, and that's the best he's ever done. And it kind of feels like with the hype or the power of this offense, like, it's kind of surprising that's his peak, but he should break that peak this year. Get into the top 12 for sure.
100%. He's been a wide receiver 1 having to play like a wide receiver 2 type role because of Amari Cooper being there, and now he doesn't have to do that anymore. He is absolutely the guy, even though he should have been the whole time. But yeah, there's not a lot to say about him. He's going to be a superstar. He already is a superstar, but he's going to be
88.
Yeah, he's going to crush it for your roster. If you can get him, you should.
Absolutely. So then we'll just skip right through, and then Michael Gallup is going to be good when he's back. He's shown, I don't know, potential, but he hasn't actually been crazy awesome.
Yeah. The injury scared me away from Gallup a little bit. It seems like sometimes it just doesn't happen for guys, and it's one of those like, all right, we're finally going to get to see him, and then he gets hurt. You're like, right. Oh, shit. And it just has that feeling of like a guy that's never going to, not even necessarily his fault, just not going to get there. But I'm interested in Jalen Tolbert, though, for real. I think like he's going to have to slide in and start producing right away. And then last year, Simi Fehoko, don't forget about him.
Oh, dude, no one's forgetting about Fehoko. No, we didn't forget about that guy. That's
I got him rostered in like every league we're in.
Oh, you're ready, man. Yeah, Jalen Tolbert, like, yeah, this I don't know. The tape kind of made me a little weary on him. Small school wasn't really destroying guys like I thought, alpha coming from a small school should be. But you can't argue with the situation. You look at this, he put up 1,400 yards last season in college, right? And he's averaging like 17 plus yards per catch. So what he is, and he's in this offense that's going to be, having to do powerful things. That's kind of what this team's about. So I'd say
Well, as you said, Dak's going to throw for 4,300 yards.
right, exactly.
You want a receiver on that field.
Right. CD Lamb's not going to get 2,400 yards, so you have to spread it around a little bit. But yeah, I'm super pumped for Jalen Tolbert. So yeah, I should have realized all this sooner, I guess.
Tolbert.
Whatever.
Hey, it's only our third year, however many years.
It's like our second year.
Second year.
It's our
All right, so
sophomore year.
second year.
Sophomore slump.
So hey, we're learning.
Yeah,
We'll be experts soon.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm shooting for. So then you look at Dalton Schultz, and like I'm serious about this guy. Triple digits in the target department last year. Dak's got a huge rapport with them. He gets good red zone work. And then you've got injured Michael Gallup. You got a rookie as the number 2 wide receiver. So the established guys, CD Lamb, Dalton Schultz, Zeke, I look for them to just be putting up monster games to start the year. And then come week 4, I think it all simmers down a little bit and they spread the love out a little bit once everyone's healthy or fully up to speed with the NFL game in the case of Tolbert. So I'm crazy about Schultz, man, and he's kind of he's kind of a value.
Oh
he's
yeah,
being
I keep
drafted.
forgetting that he was the tight end 4 last year. That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
Like that's
Yeah.
wild. So you're probably onto something, and I think you may have seen a little window that other people can't see. Or as far as how high you are on him, I know other people are putting him in that category, but I think you might be onto something.
hell yeah, he's my starting tight end in that startup, so I better be. Otherwise, I have to rely on Gesicki, and we've all been there.
That's true.
I think literally all 3 of us have been there.
We have, yeah, pass him around.
Yeah.
Mr. Gesicki, he's so athletic. Well, shit. What's up with the defense?
I don't think it's going to be as good as it was last year. I think they still have that potential. They didn't really lose necessarily like a ton of people or really anything necessarily. So the depth chart doesn't look terrible. It just doesn't fly off the paper to me. They have stars at every level. You got Lawrence in the front. Micah Parsons is obviously on a Hall of Fame trajectory, all fucking ready. And then Trayvon Diggs in the secondary. So you do have stars. I guess it's just like Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis aren't terrifying as second corners behind Diggs. I don't necessarily like Diggs is a great player, but I don't put him necessarily in the lockdown corner. So like his second corners, I think are a little more important than say a guy like Stephon Gilmore in his day or Jalen Ramsey, somebody like that. So that kind of worries me a little bit. I think there's a potential, but they also like just didn't really improve it. So it like didn't get worse, but now it's just older and now people have figured it out more and you didn't really do anything to improve it. So if they change it a little bit, who knows? And obviously it's still going to be a good defense. I just don't think it's going to be as good as it was last year.
All right. Well, shit. I mean, do what you got to do.
Yeah,
Put up all the points on the other side of the ball and just
It's fair.
hope you can close out a couple games.
There you go. Hey, signing of Anthony Barr. That's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like they drafted a cornerback, but I hear he's pretty bland.
So far. And what round was that?
5th.
5th round. And then, I mean, they got an edge rusher in the second, I guess. But I don't know. And I could be 100% wrong on that one. I just have a feeling that if there's going to be a defense that regresses a bit, I think the Cowboys are one of my targets for that.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially in a division that has been pretty vanilla on the offensive side of the ball. So
Yeah.
maybe that's inflated their effectiveness or their stats. Or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, hey, I don't mean to command this conversation, but why don't we head to DC?
All right, dude. You can command our attention.
I'll try my darndest. Where we got head coach Ron Rivera
Ronnie.
And offensive coordinator Scott Turner, who I touched on a little bit last year. So just kind of revisit that for a second. He is the son of, touted coach Norv Turner.
Heard of him.
Yeah, he was pretty good. He was, his dad, Scott Turner, current OC. His dad was the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers under Ron Rivera when he got hired. So that is where we kind of saw the beginning of the running back committee of D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart, even Cam Newton. 2014, Nerve Turner goes to the Vikings under coach Mike Zimmer, where he has a running back by committee. Jerick McKinnon, Matt Asiata, Adrian Peterson comes back. Adrian Peterson leaves, not under his own volition. And so we get another running back committee. And so I literally quoted this last year. I think he will use a committee with J.D. McKissick, similar to the Browns offense, with Gibson as the lead runner. I believe there's a chance he sees Diami Brown as the Stephon Diggs and Terry McLaurin as the big body receiver, both heavily featured. I think he's not afraid to air it out, but it is Ron Rivera's team. But for how long? If he finds himself a quarterback and takes over this team with these weapons, watch out. Now, he found a quarterback, right, guys?
No.
Guys?
Sam Howell or
Guys?
Yeah.
Carson? Nah, dog.
Nah, it's a no for me, dog.
So no for me. Well, let's talk about the line, man. Let's talk about the line.
Well, if Carson is going to have a chance, he needs a good line. And for some reason, like this division weirdly all has good lines. Like 3 of the teams finished in the top 10 last year, and 2 of them are in the top 5. The Commanders finished 6th last year. They start this year ranked 15th. That has a lot to do with Brandon Scherf being gone. But they did snag Andrew Norwell in free agency, so that does give them a lot more flexibility at the guard position. So that helps out that a lot. So I think 15 is like a starting point for them, but I see them as like a potential top 5 line necessarily. 5 seems a stretch, but definitely top 10. Samuel Cosme, or Cosme, I'm just screwing
It's
that one up.
Cosme.
Cosme, okay, had a really good rookie year, and if he can improve, that's where I see this line kind of taking off, because he had a grade in the 70s, which is pretty good for a rookie, and if he can step that up to a high 70 or 80s, that'd be pretty impressive. They also, like, this is just a weird story. The Commanders picked up Charles Leno off the street last season, and he played well enough to earn a 3-year, $37 million deal. So first of all, props to him, but also that helps out the Commanders so much that a left tackle they picked up ended up being one of the best linemen on their team, and they signed him. So I think this line is going to be really good. I don't really see it much room for regression to me. I think the 15th ranking by PFF seems a little harsh. I think this line's going to be fine.
Well, that means that everything's going to be fine. Because Carson Wentz is in town, man. Party over here. Party over here. And the weird thing about Carson Wentz is, I feel like he gets disrespected just because he got injured a couple times in Philadelphia and then wasn't around for the glory days in the playoffs and stuff like that. You got to remember that he helped get the teams there. Sure, he didn't really help get his team last year to the playoffs, but one thing that he did do was throw 27 touchdowns and only had 7 picks. And that's not a bad – that is not bad, especially for a team that is pretty run first and didn't really have a ton of receiving options, right? But when I think of Indianapolis, where Carson Wentz played last year, and then I think of Washington, where he plays now, I think, he can't be getting an O-line upgrade, right? Because Indianapolis has always had a great offensive line, right? Well, turns out as far as pass blocking goes, Indianapolis was 23rd last year, whereas Washington was 4th in the pass blocking department. So you're talking about a guy who only threw 7 picks behind a bottom half of the league O-line and a run-first offense, but still managed to throw 27 touchdowns. I think he's got a ton of potential here. Now, you comparing him to Tyler Heineke? Come on, man. Like, that guy, he didn't do any of those things. He got sacked a bunch. He threw a ton of picks. He didn't close out games at all. But he did fine for being like the water boy that got to throw the ball a couple of years. So proud of you, Taylor. Sorry.
I was about to say put some respect on his name, but I was like, never mind. Just keep calling him Tyler.
So yeah, he had like 32 sacks last year. Wentz did. Heineke had 38. So a big part of the drawbacks for Wentz was like the decision making in the pocket. So hopefully he can get a little bit of love. Maybe he can get back to being a little more of a rushing quarterback. You know, he's got Ron Rivera, who had plenty of time with Cam Newton. Not comparing the two, but I feel like it's not a stretch to think that what worked for one might work for the other. So
Yeah.
I think there's some potential. But
Yeah,
yeah.
especially at his ADP.
Oh, yeah.
Like, with the weapons he has, go for it. Like, who else has Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel trio, you know, like a level that good? There's only a few other teams that a quarterback can say that he has that good of weapons. So, like, I don't know. Yeah, he's worth it. I do think as a Dynasty podcast, Sam Howell looked pretty good in his preseason opener. So if Carson Wentz does fall, I wonder how short that leash is.
Yeah, I wonder about that too, because I like that Sam Howell, man, out of UNC. That guy, he's a gruff dude, you know. He's a physical football player, and I got a half an eye on him. But I'm with you. I do think though that Carson Wentz could. God, I wish he wasn't so cheesy and didn't look so weird in that color. You
Yeah.
know? It's like Russ of the East, dude. But no, I mean, when you speak about Terry McLaurin, like, you know, this guy is next level. Gosh, I love Terry. We all love Terry, right? So, so he's the wide receiver 25 last year. That's his kind of his peak. And he went off. He had 126 targets, and the next guy on the team had like 61. So for Terry to get the quarterback upgrade and to get Jahan Dotson, as you mentioned, a feisty guy out of Penn State, we're all pretty excited about. So upgraded receiving core. So Terry's got, you know, less heat on him, better delivery from the quarterback, you know, in theory. So he's got to be going. It's got to be going Super Terry, right?
Yeah, I think the only receiver I'm not worried about because of Carson Wentz is Terry McLaurin. Carson's shown the ability to have like a number one guy. Michael Pittman was a top 24 receiver last year. So if he has a dominant guy like that, he tends to use them pretty well. Alshon Jeffrey comes to mind.
Sure.
So I'm not really worried about Terry McLaurin. I'm worried about these other receivers because of the last 3 seasons of Wentz not being able to sustain 2 wide receivers. I just wanted to point this out. In 2019, Carson Wentz's second receiver had 73 targets for 43 catches. In 2020, his second receiver had 67 targets for 38 catches. In 2021, he had 69 targets for also 38 catches. And the average yardage over the last 3 seasons was 471. So that's what I'm worried about for the secondary guys. However, the caveat here is this is going to be the best set of weapons and the best line he's had over the last 3 years as well. So if he has a chance, because he has supported 2 guys in the past, it was just Jeffrey and Aguilar during the Super Bowl run.
I was going to say, how many of those guys were Zach Ertz, you know?
Yeah. Can I take a second?
That's
Did you
true,
say however or Howell. Ever.
Howell ever.
Oh.
Hey, we'll be howling here in a minute. Keep a lid on it.
And that's
Yeah.
fair too. Yeah, I took the tight end out of it because I was doing just receivers since we're just like that's what I was trying to do. So he does use his tight ends more than the average person. So we'll see. I wanted that out there because he's just not even like completing passes to his second guy over the last 3 years. Like the highest catches was 43. Like that's not. If that's Jahan Dotson's rookie year, 43 catches for 471 yards, I'm not really going to be that excited.
No, you shouldn't be. I bet, like you said, man, like this is the first round draft pick, right?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. This is going to be the most talent. I was more curious. Are you guys worried about something like that, or is it a better line, better talent? It's a wash.
I always worry about a guy standing next to Terry McLaurin on the depth chart because he's proven time and time again that he can take the full focus of the defense with a shittiest quarterback around and just get it done. So,
Yeah.
like, why would you ever look a second way when that's on the field? But I do think that in this situation with the draft capital, you have to give the guy. So I would rather have Terry all the way, obviously. And what you're saying, it makes me a little more concerned, but I do think Dotson hits 800 yards.
Yeah,
Easy.
I think so too, especially with the reports of Wentz and Dotson's like connection already. It was just a little scary doing research for the pod. I was like, oh shit, because I'm kind of counting on Dotson in our startup.
Sure. Well, I was just trying to, as you were speaking, I was thinking through those teams, Indianapolis last year, Philadelphia. It's like, if there was a good number two,
Maybe he would have thrown to him.
for
and
sure.
and that's why I wanted to definitely throw it out that this will be the best cast he's had. So, but I don't know, it's still interesting, I guess. But
Oh yeah. I think that there's a lot of mystery baked into this team, but like they oddly find a way to be successful like every
That's
year.
true.
It's and I think their chances
Successful
are
enough.
a lot better. Successful
Yeah.
enough to yeah. I think another part of it hinges on Logan Thomas's health, So without him being cleared to play week 1 at this point, Jahan Dotson could obviously get a bump from that. You got John Bates, which I don't know if he's a real threat, but then
Say
you
it.
also
Say
got
it.
my dude from Nevada, Cole Turner from the representing the Wolfpack in the house, man. And I got big hopes for all of my Wolfpack guys, man. It's not just Dobbs, it's all of them. So Carson
All
Strong,
of 'em.
I don't know where you're at, which car wash you work in, but
Did
I
he
got
get
big
cut
hopes for
already?
you. Now I'm sure he's still alive and well. Is he in Philadelphia? Is that true?
He was.
Oh. But, and then we have to talk about, speaking of
Yes.
car washes,
Yeah.
Billy.
we got to talk about the running back room. So
Woof.
I'll just say that last year they were top 12 in rush attempts and rush yards, but they were 21st in rushing touchdowns, which
Oof.
means they weren't sealing the deal so much. And Antonio Gibson, obviously he's just an anomaly. He's not a traditional running back.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of hype. He had a great rookie year. But then clearly he wasn't getting it all the way done, or there was something left to be desired. So they go after Brian Robinson. This is like a 230-pound, 6'1" guy. Really kind of a bruiser. He had a 5% TD rate last year in college. Just kicked ass at Alabama, a school known for doing things pretty well. And then, of course, Carson Wentz has a little bit of a red zone rushing potential as well. So Gibson apparently, I don't know, is in the doghouse or something.
I don't. Well, that fumble in preseason didn't help him.
Right.
I can tell you that. Not on Ron Rivera's team, but yeah, I don't know what the deal is here. Gibson to me proved enough to be a number one guy, and it just seems like that's not what they want to do. They took
Especially
Brian
with
Robinson in the third round.
the McKissick thing. Like
Mhm.
Yeah, bringing back J.D. McKissick.
that contract was all but done at Buffalo, and they're just like, hold on a second.
Yeah, and so it's clear that they don't. I don't know. It just they don't. They don't feel comfortable. It feels like with
Yeah, I mean they're
any of these guys.
unsatisfied, or I mean he's got the
Yeah.
turf toe recurring kind of nagging injury stuff, but like
Mhm.
this, it almost feels personal right now.
Yeah.
I mean maybe
Well,
it's the fumble, and
they've
maybe it's
got him
just
on
Twitter.
special teams right now.
Yeah,
Like, oh no, that's not
don't
good.
like treat him like he's Trey Sermon. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. So yeah, and maybe it's just like a football thing, you know. Maybe it's like an outside perspective being a little off, but you know, fumble's
Yeah.
real, and Ron Rivera is obviously kind of a no nonsense guy. So,
For sure.
but when push comes to shove, Gibson's gonna be. He knows the system. He's gonna be on the field. So it
Yeah, I
depends
just
on
worry
what.
about. I worry now that you brought up the touchdown numbers, a stat that I wasn't really aware of. I'm really worried about Gibson's red zone work with the idea that they brought Brian Robinson in specifically to fix that problem.
Sounds like someone should have traded Antonio Gibson, like I did.
Oh, all right.
Oh, I
Victory
did
laps
too.
aside.
To you.
I didn't. Oh shit! I traded for him. I see. I now see the error of my way.
It's the curse of doing this research.
What did I give you? A first
First, which turned into Garrett Wilson, I think.
and Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
I gave you Gabriel Davis for free.
Hey, at the time, I really felt weird about that trade. This has gone south on you.
Oh yeah, and it's all good because I got money to burn in that league, man. But
That's fair.
yeah, so he had 12 carries inside the 5 and scored 5 touchdowns. So it's not like horrible, but that's a lot of carries inside the 5. Like more than the average bear.
I was about to say that's what Zeke got, right?
Yeah, Zeke, and he had 6 touchdowns. So, you know, most of these guys getting that many carries had 6 or 7 or more. So, I don't know. Feels like a thing. It's like, you know, just want to shore up the position. But then if you end up drafting a guy who comes to camp and kicks ass, then like, what up? You know, old news. Get thee behind. So,
It's fair.
fuck yeah. All right, let's hit this defense.
Oh yeah. Another one I don't have a ton about. There's no real turnover here. So I guess my only thing is like, how much of this rides on Chase Young? Because they didn't lose any huge names, so they still got their core. It's still going to be a good defense, but with a healthy Chase Young, it's a great defense. So I guess that's really it for the Washington Commanders, in my opinion. Is like, if Chase Young comes back, whenever he does end up coming back, if he's not quite right, I think it kind of eliminates their potential to be a top tier defense to me. Because he's the superstar that makes this scary, whereas it's good, above average without him. I just think not as scary without him. So I don't know. I didn't really have a lot. It was the same Commanders defense. Well, I guess it wasn't because they weren't the Commanders, but the Washington football. The last ever Washington football team defense is almost identical to the first ever Commanders defense. So
Well
True
put.
that.
I didn't really
Well
have
put.
that much to say. Like,
No, man. I mean, it's kind of solid. It's a young group, and they've done pretty well. So
no, yeah, it's a good defense, and
I got
Yeah.
a second round tackle, defensive tackle out of Alabama.
I was gonna say they're my starting defense. Am I good?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're great in this
Hell yeah,
division.
you're gonna be
fine.
good.
I don't know. You scared me with all that Dak hoopla.
Man. I tell you what, It's the Cowboys division to lose. Always has been.
Well, shall we? Shall we blow this up into Giants?
Yes, we should inflate this. Make it
okay.
giant.
Make it giant. Thank you.
Make it big and blue.
Ooh. Going into the New York Giants.
The football Giants.
We got a new head coach. Joe Judge is out. Can you believe it? It's crazy.
Yeah, you got that text from Belichick.
Yeah.
How many fucking people are going to remember Joe Judge in 10 years?
Fucking 10 hours.
Me, for sure.
No one.
Dude, I forgot that when you said they got a new coach, I literally was like, who the fuck was their coach? Like, oh, yeah.
Don't worry. He's back with the Patriots, baby. He's good. He's back.
You can always come home to
Dude, that's what I was. All these Patriots kids that go get fired, they just get to come back home.
Like,
it's nice.
Sorry, Bill. Sorry.
Nice to have a safety net, I guess.
So, new head coach, the offensive coordinator from the Buffalo Bills comes over. It's Brian Daboll, not to be confused with Brian Flores there, Bill Belichick.
Billy.
Make sure your font's big enough, or put your readers on, my friend.
Don't text and drive.
Funny enough, Brian Daboll did start his NFL career with the Patriots in 2000. But we're just going to skip ahead to more recent things where in 2017, he did his whole NFL coaching thing where he did end up going back to the Patriots in 2013 to 16. So
Wow.
Back to Bill, the safety net, as we mentioned. 2017, he was the offensive coordinator of Alabama. And this is where we saw
Bill thing.
a Jalen Hurts, a Calvin Ridley, a Henry Ruggs, a Damian Harris. So it's a guy known for knowing some weapons here. 2018, gets hired on as the Bills' offensive coordinator at the same time as Sean McDermott, the current head coach.
Mickey D.
So it was a struggling year where a bad rookie of Josh Allen went and we had the leading receiver on that team as Zay Jones. Back when we thought Zay Jones was going to be the truth. By the way,
Still is.
Zay Jones had 56 receptions on 102 targets.
Oh my
Sick.
God.
But
Oh my God.
luckily, going into 2019, the Bills
Traded his ass.
hired Ken Dorsey.
Oh. Okay.
My Ken Dorsey train.
I'll be back in 10 minutes when this is over.
The current offensive coordinator of the Bills, now that Brian Daboll's left. We'll get into all that. But in 2019, he comes in, offensive coordinator, no big-bodied receiver. We're talking John Brown, Cole Beasley. John Brown, 115 targets, 72 receptions, 1,000 yards. Cole Beasley, 106 targets, 67 receptions, 778 yards. Both had 2 touchdowns. You're talking about John Brown, 5'10". You're talking about Cole Beasley, 5'8". Devin Singletary had the 3rd most receptions on that team.
Ooh.
So no solid, big-bodied receiver. Not so much accurate of a quarterback. Getting it done creatively. Kind of feels a little reminiscent of a current team Brian Daboll's a part of, right?
Oh.
So then the 2020, 2021 Bills, I don't think I need to really explain them. Brian Daboll
coin toss.
earned his role, shown he can do it with all types of pieces. But, I mean, just think if this team had, 2018 Kenny Galladay, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, man. That'd be nice.
But
Too bad time is linear. Is it, though? I still haven't figured it out.
A lot of people are trying to figure that question out. I don't think
Yeah.
we're going to know it.
yeah, we'll stick to
I will
it.
treat it as linear.
Yeah, makes the most sense to me.
Fuck yeah, man.
Speaking of linear, let's talk about the offensive line.
Linear,
Yeah.
the offensive linear. I think they're trying to build the best offensive line that Daniel Jones has had. And if I'm honest with you, I think they did it. Andrew Thomas, after a pretty disappointing rookie season, improved, and he only allowed 18 pressures last year. Then you bring in Evan Neal on the other side. Obviously, everybody that watched the draft knows how excited everyone is about him. And as soon as he gets up and going, that line should be solidified. And then they went to free agency and brought in John Feliciano and Mark Glowinski, who aren't necessarily superstars, but they'll be solid for you. So that line, I think, is going to be pretty good. And I don't know. I think giving Daniel Jones a little bit of time to sit in the pocket and use these weapons could be really good for him. I like what they're doing in New York. I really do.
Daniel Jones. I hope that a new coaching staff and a new O-line is what it takes for you to get the respect you deserve.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you type in Jones on the Sleeper app, Daniel Jones is the fifth Jones behind Ronald and Julio. So, what are we doing? What are we doing? That's jacked up, man. That's mad disrespectful. Yeah, I mean exactly what you said. What do you want to know about Daniel Jones? The guy misses stretches of games like every season, and then he gets in there and he has great series. He's got like crazy, wild, rushing moments, but like he doesn't piece together a great team. He played 11 games last year and had 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He leads this team to, those 10 touchdowns were also supplemented by 5 more from backups at Mike Glennon mostly. And so with 15 touchdowns on the year, they went to 11 different receivers. I've talked about all this before. It makes it a funky team that doesn't seem like they have their shit together. Nothing really figured out. So we're hoping a guy who barely squeaked out a 3,000-yard passing season as a rookie, splitting time with Eli Manning, is going to come in here and be the truth. I think what you've described is a great O-line for the quarterback they draft next year. But I just don't have the faith for Danny DiMaggio. What's his name? Jones?
I don't know, man. I think with a better coach and a better line, I see potential for growth. At least enough that I want to see it. Like, I don't want them. I just want Daniel Jones to have this season. I think he could do something. Like, I think his rookie year soured people on him a lot. And I don't know, that the Giants team is goddamn. Kenny Golladay is 6'4" and he had 0 touchdowns last season. Like, what the fuck are they doing over there? So, like, I just think that place has been a shit show. I just want to see Daniel Jones with a competent line and some weapons, which he does now have, apparently, healthier.
Yeah,
so, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying it's going to work, but I'm intrigued.
I didn't think you guys would be duking it out over this.
Oh.
That's a Daniel Jones culture.
Hey. Yeah, so what do you think? Let me just say, I think Daniel Jones is on... He's on the fence. He could easily be a top 15 quarterback, and he could easily be part of a team that's, tanking.
Yeah.
Not intentionally or whatever they do in Florida, but trying to put themselves in a position for the future. And I don't think I'm at a place where I can make a call on that. But yeah, the O-line definitely helps them. Healthy Saquon Barkley is going to be like worlds of difference for him.
Yeah.
So I think, the potential is definitely there, but like, you'll not find him on my rosters.
If I had to pick which one, gun to my head, is more likely, absolutely that he's going to suck and they're going to be terrible and then they're going to draft a quarterback. 100%. I just am intrigued for the ride, I guess, because I think he hasn't gotten the fairest of chances. And to be fair, okay, he only had 3,000 yards as a rookie, but he did have 24 touchdowns and like 10 interceptions as a rookie, which is pretty good. So like, I'm just intrigued for it. I'm gonna root for him to get a fair chance over the last 2 seasons. And maybe I just think the Giants have been a lot worse over the last 2 years than they have been. And maybe he's more of a reason that they are.
I don't think it's his fault. I think it was a judge, jury, and executioner type situation. But my whole thing is like, does the organization they have no reason to like give him a chance to succeed long term, in my opinion.
No, but in my opinion, they're in a win-win right now because you can just start Daniel Jones, and if he sucks, then you get a higher draft pick. If he all of a sudden comes alive, well, now you fucking got the guy you thought you were getting in the first place. So like, I kind of like it. Just fucking one more season, throw him out there. He's gonna be out there. To me, no matter what, it should be like Jordan Love in the Packers preseason. He should play every fucking snap that he possibly can because you need to see this guy for one last chance to see if you have anything.
Because we all know what they got in Tyrod. Backing him up, ready to roll.
Let's go.
That ain't no Mike Glennon back there.
Full ribs.
But speaking of redemption, I think that's what you're talking about. I think it's time for Saquon to be redeeming himself, right? So, I mean, I'm doing some math here. I'm doing division, addition, subtraction, correlating numbers. Rookie year, running back 1. Second year, running back 10. Third year, running back 100. Fourth year, running back 30. So if I'm doing my math right, I think it's going to be the running back 3. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Well, shit.
So the offensive line improves. He's been playing behind garbage. He's had a lot of health issues. So that rookie year, he had 121 targets. Holy shit. That's how he made it happen. He had like 2,000 scrimmage yards. And so the opportunity was a little different. The team was a lot different. Eli Manning was throwing for 4,300 yards that year. That's something Daniel Jones is never going to do in his career. So,
Why not?
So here we go. But the big thing is, if he can solidify someone that can score, that's what this team's missing. They're missing someone who can score touchdowns. Like I mentioned, 11 different people caught a touchdown. There were only 15 touchdowns. The top leading pass-catching scorer was Evan Ingram with 3 touchdowns. So somehow I can believe that Saquon Barkley will catch more than 3 touchdowns this year.
Yeah, I can believe that.
As many as 8. You know what I mean? And they did nothing in the draft to challenge him as the lead running back in this room. Matt Breida, Gary Brightwell, you know, go Wildcats, Arizona. Got to do what you got to do. But yeah, man, it's locked in. Saquon, Saquon. This team makes or breaks on Saquon, man. It's like a Carolina Christian McCaffrey thing, you know. So, you know, Saquon corrects a lot of the errors of the rest of the team. So, I think he can get in there and kick ass. I do think, you know, running back 3. You know, put it on me, hold me to it.
Put it on paper. No, I mean, I agree that the potential is there. You know, it's all about the injury thing. And I know there's a big thing where now everybody's talking shit saying you can't predict injury. And it's like, well, no, but if somebody gets hurt every fucking year, it maybe isn't that predictive. So, like, yeah, apparently Barkley's back, and apparently he looks great, and he looks better than ever. And I feel like I heard all that same shit last year. So we'll see. Let's see how it happens. But yeah, I think you're right on the upside, for sure. We've seen it. Barkley's an incredible athlete and an incredible player, but
definitely
too scary for me.
Sorry, he's pouring a bag of wine into a beer can, and on the mics it just sounds like he was pissing into a can.
Nice.
You know.
Good old fantasy content. So.
Yeah, sorry if my excitement for this team has waned off quickly.
No, you're good.
I do think there's a ton of potential for Wan'Dale Robinson to come in and make a name for himself. We don't get it. He's too small. It's too many
We're gonna be
the wrong
fucked
things.
if he does.
I mean, AJ was a huge fan.
That's true. I guess that's true.
Man. From Nebraska to Kentucky, man. Go home, take care of business during COVID.
I said there's one guy that could be the Deebo Samuels. I'm just saying. I said that shit.
I tell you what, I guarantee he'll be a Deebo Samuels if Saquon can't stay healthy. He'll definitely be running the ball because he's the best number 2 running back on this team without a doubt. And he's actually semi-built for that role. So then you got Kadarius Toney. There was like he's on the trade block, bad blood in the beginning of the year.
Now they're playing his rap songs at training camp and shit, like
Yeah,
his own tracks. Like,
I think
all
everything's
right,
fine.
yeah,
Yeah, I think
like,
that was just some news for the sake of news. I do think Kadarius Toney is someone to be sought after in a medium value situation. You know, you don't have to like decline a trade offer someone sends you for him. Just think about it, maybe counter, add a fourth, whatever.
That's right, Ben.
Ben, if you're watching this, really appreciate it, man. Biggest fan of you is me, so vice versa would be nice. Then you got Kenny Galladay. We already said the name. Sterling Shepard, obviously, he's huge as far as Christian's fandom.
well, I mean, with the emergence of Wan'Dale Robinson, it's now he's not. Maybe he can finally go to be healthy somewhere else.
That'd be
I don't
cool.
know. He's productive, is all I'm saying. But yeah, with Wan'Dale Robinson showing up, that's it. That's a wrap.
All right, man. That's a wrap. You heard it here first. Let's see.
Unless they trade Kenny Galladay or some shit. But that'd be weird.
That would be weird.
He's their big guy.
Yeah, I mean they can't get rid of Kenny. They gotta hope it makes sense. Darius Slayton's still on this team. He had two receiving touchdowns last year, which
Second most on the team.
so that's cool. Oh wow! Alrighty, what's our defense up to? I know they got a pretty awesome draft going there.
Yeah. Did we want to speak on tight ends?
Oh yeah, so Daniel Bellinger is the rookie there.
I guess my only point was that I'm surprised that his name hasn't come up more often. But
Yeah, he's a guy
yeah.
that I was kicking around picking him up a couple of weeks ago just because I could use some depth at that position. And for some reason, I'm like rostering undrafted free agent running backs instead. It's
Well,
like,
I think that's all you need to know about Daniel Bellinger is that we're drafting undrafted rookie running backs. So that's how excited we are about him.
I think that actually he's probably got a ton of potential, but I think he's kind of a stopgap for this team. He was actually
Gotcha.
really good. San Diego State really kicked ass, but they haven't figured out how to use the weapons they have. I don't see how a tight end fits in as a productive
Yeah.
receiver in this offense out the gate, unless they're trying to do some Buffalo Dawson Knox type stuff. And if that's the case, if they're doing it Buffalo style, then there will be 5 different tight ends on this roster that scored touchdown this year. So
Yeah.
what's up with that? Jordan Akins is around. He's been a thorn in the side of want to be productive tight ends before. So I'm willing to not talk about the tight end position as far as New York goes.
Yeah, that's fair. I shouldn't have brought it up.
No, dude.
That was my bad. I brought it up and then read my own notes and was like, yeah, probably wasn't worth it, but it's already out of my mouth now. So
I had the knowledge. I did the research, but as you're saying, it's like,
Boo.
let's just skip.
yeah. Well, back to the defense then. The secondary could be a real issue. James Bradbury was definitely their best corner, and now he is gone. Adoree Jackson and Aaron Robinson are not the most lethal duo I've ever seen at corners. But this pass rush might be able to make up for it. As you were saying earlier about the draft, Kayvon Thibodeau is apparently having a great camp. That was to be expected. But the big news of that is now you've got Azeez Al-Jalari, who was coming off a really underrated, underknown rookie season where he ended up with 8 sacks. I don't know how many people knew that. 8 sacks, then you throw in Kayvon Thibodeau, and you have obviously Leonard Williams coming off another one of his just consistently good seasons. So that front 7 with the pass rush could be pretty effective for the Giants, and it could kind of save them that secondary issue. But if there's ever a strong quarterback coming into the town, I fear for the Giants' defense right now.
Yeah, it's kind of been that. It's been the story for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
It's Where do you take the bucket when you got that many leaks on your boat? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, start from the line back is what I always say, and that's what they're doing. So
I like where the organization is headed. I think
yeah,
we're a
I
couple of
agree.
years out from legitimate hope, though.
Yeah. This is going to be a middling year. Maybe you can see some of these guys like a Wandale Robinson, Kayvon Thibodeau. You see what you have, and then go on from there.
Is that
Nice.
chillable red or what?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Well, speaking of undrafted free agents on my roster,
Here we go.
let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles, where we got second-year head coach Nick Sirianni. He did get his NFL start 2009 with the Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out, hometown. Survived a coaching change between Todd Haley and Romeo Corral. Cromell?
I should know that.
Cromell.
Which I think is always something to be said when you survive a coaching change as a low-level coach. In 2013, hired by Mike McCoy at the San Diego Chargers, working his way from offensive quality control coach to quarterback coach to wide receiver coach, also surviving a coaching change when Anthony Lynn took over in 2017. Side note, did you all know Keenan Allen and I was looking at these stats, just complete side note, was targeted 105 times as a rookie. And since then has been targeted 120 times every year aside from his injury year in the year previous to that where he had 86 targets.
Yeah.
Which he played 8 games
put a
in.
straight edge on a stat line.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Thank you. So back to Sirianni. 2018, hired and retained as offensive coach or offense coordinator under Frank Wright for the Indianapolis Colts from 2018-2020. They were connected from the 2014-2015 season, where Frank Wright was the offensive coordinator for the then San Diego Chargers. Oof. Also very much explains the Phillip Rivers connection coming in when he was there. 2018, the T.Y. Hilton, Eric Ebron, Nyheim Hines leading the way in targets, 1, 2, 3 with Andrew Luck. 2019, a bit of a downfall. The non-recognizably retirement from Andrew Luck happens, but you still had Zach Pascal, Jack Doyle, and Nyheim Hines leading the receptions in that way. And then in 2020, T.Y. Hilton, Nyheim Hines leading receptions. So you think Nick Sirianni wanted himself a Nyheim Hines? What up? New Kenny G? What up? What up with you? But anyway, 2021, he's hired as the head coach of the Eagles. Totally different style quarterback than he's used to having. Still gets the tight end numbers. Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert lead the way, both with over 800 yards receptions. So honestly, it kind of feels like the newest additions, what I'll let you guys get into, makes me feel like this offense is kind of heading in a different direction. But I'm curious if he's getting back to RB passing ways or if that was more of a Luck and Rivers thing, which might be more of a Luck and Rivers thing. But I do think this dude wants to get back to some T.Y. Hilton days. So I guess, first of all, we'll have to see how good that line is, huh?
Oh, you already know.
Jesus, that's very good. Very good indeed, my friends. They start on PFF ranking number 1 for offensive line, and it's hard to argue with them. Jason Kelce still in the middle, potentially Hall of Fame career center. Lane Johnson, also same, potentially Hall of Fame. He's still there. Lane Dickerson was a guard, highly thought of coming out in the draft. He had an okay rookie year, but could be could kind of surge and show some progress here with the rest of the line. But the craziest story here is Jordan Mailata at left tackle. For those of you who don't know, Jordan Mailata was playing rugby in Australia 5 years ago, and he had never played a single snap of football. And he just graded at 87.4 at left tackle, the hardest position on the offensive line last season. Damn. So they just found this fucking guy out of nowhere, and he's already one of the best left tackles. He started better than most rookie first-round draft picks did. He had like in the 70s grade. So this man's crazy. That anchors this entire line as long as he keeps improving, and apparently he's just going to fucking push people around no matter what continent he's on. So I'm all into this offensive line. It makes the Eagles everything they're trying to do. It gives them so much leeway to do it with. They're going to be able to run because they can just shove everybody out of the way, and anything they want to try passing, they should have time. I'm really into this Eagles team.
Nice, dude. Hey, you should ask that guy about South Up maps. Might be a good
Callback.
Might be a good opportunity for you. Oh man, hopefully, Greek water polo players can be good defensive ends as well, or whatever. So
Yeah, that'd be
let's
cool.
hope the transition. We have to look outside the sport for the future of the sport. All right, I'm all in it. Speaking of all in, I am still all in on Jalen Hurts. Got in early and was happy about it. I guess I could have gotten further. Freaking old Lance was trying to give him away about a year ago. So
Yeah. Funny story about that, if you guys want to know. Guess who talked me out of trading for Jalen Hurts? Fucking Danny. And then,
Fucking Danny.
and then
Shout out
just
Danny.
traded for him.
like and
Dickhead.
subscribe. No.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I shouldn't be easily talked out of shit.
Yeah, you got to trust your own instincts, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's where I get to the bottom of the deep.
I can't hate the player.
Gotta hate the game. But you know who doesn't hate the game? So Jalen was the top rushing quarterback as far as yards and touchdowns last year. He had 10 touchdowns. And this is all due to a beautiful offensive line who played very well last year and looks like they will be playing as well, if not better. So how can it get better for Jalen Hurts? I don't know. Maybe give him the 5th highest PFF rated wide receiver in the league from last year. Dude named AJ Brown. So
that probably does it. That helps.
So yeah, man. I'm just there. I'm there with it. So they had let's see, the Eagles they were last in pass attempts last year, and they had 5th fewest passing touchdowns with 20. Yet the guy was still the QB 10 or top 10 QB. So it just feels like that's his floor. Like things could go up from here, or they might not.
Well, I think they probably will. I guess my curiosity is, where is this all going to come from? Because a lot of it, the reason he was a top 10 quarterback was the rushing. He had 90 designed runs last year. But now, like you said, you bring in A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith both had 104 and 105 targets, respectively. So those guys need to eat. They're going to need to get around that. So I guess I'm just curious, is he going to run enough? Is he going to run like they paid AJ Brown all this money. They're going to use him. Now he has 2 number 1 receivers. I don't know. I'm just curious. I think that you could see him become a better passer, but lose on the designed runs because they don't need to do it as much.
Yeah, well, I think 20 touchdowns is a number that could be improved upon. If he gets 35 instead of 20, then that's in a fantasy football world, that's the same as 10 rushing touchdowns. That's quarterback scoring. But you also look at the Titans versus the Eagles, and those two teams had the most carries, on the ground, and the passing yard difference was only 14 yards. So it's comparable systems. I don't see why they wouldn't just use AJ Brown in a similar role he was already in, but something that the Titans didn't have, right, is Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert. AJ already mentioned some 800-yard guys right there. So you're looking at all of this, and the stats just go up. They change, right, proportion, and head more towards a passing role for Jalen Hurts, which he hasn't really had the weapons to make that be very solid, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it comes off of 3,100 yards and 16 touchdowns. So I think there's a lot of potential for him to increase the passing stats and keep his status as a top 10.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
fair.
you look at the red zone work, and I think we all know that Miles Sanders didn't have any rushing touchdowns last year. So that easily can still be a Jalen Hurts thing.
Or Kennedy Brooks thing.
Well, you say Kennedy, but Kenny Gainwell, Kenny G, not Kenny B, had half as many red zone attempts as Miles Sanders last year, but had 5 rushing touchdowns. So, I mean, it just hurts. It hurts, man. I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to. I got all kinds of poo poo for Miles Sanders. Let's see. He's got 9 rushing touchdowns in 40 games played.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and 2 of those
Goose egg in
games.
12 games and only 34 targets last season.
Yeah, as compared to 50 targets for Kenny Gainwell.
Yeah, what is Miles Sanders?
So
What is
yeah,
he?
he's got 9 rushing touchdowns in 40 games. In 2 games, he scored twice. So that's 7 games out of 40 that he scored a touchdown in as a running back. It's 17.5% of his games.
Jeez.
So if you count 3 receiving touchdowns from his rookie year with a different coach and a different quarterback, then you get to 22.5% of his games have all-purpose touchdowns. And
Jesus.
that's pretty sad.
Yeah.
So I guess he's due for a big comeback. I don't know. I sent out a trade offer for him last night, and then I did this research, and then I was like, I better cancel that trade
I
offer.
canceled mine too.
I don't think it's worth a second all of a sudden. But I mean, we've touched on all the guys. This is a pretty balanced team if you consider Jalen Hurts as the rushing threat. And the O-line makes it to where they can just do whatever works. They have unlimited options. So I don't know as far as predicting what's going to happen. I think that you can look for more of the same out of Goddard and Smith. And for A.J. Brown, if he stays healthy, obviously he's struggled staying on the field as well. But, I mean, you look at a guy that could do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. And I don't think the team's going to lean on him, but I think they are going to use him. But they have him long term, so they might just take it easy on him and just use him when they need him. I think that this is going to be like a smart, well-balanced team that is really going to be just Jalen Hurts kind of kicking ass, running when he needs to, passing when he needs to, an O-line making his life easy.
Yeah.
Just a
they are
successful
gonna do
football
that.
team. I mean, I don't have it.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm with you. Like, that's part of the reasons I'm excited about the Eagles. And I was playing the devil's advocate there. But yeah, like, there's no reason this offense shouldn't work and the superstars on it shouldn't score. I don't really want a running back other than maybe Kenny Gainwell on a flyer or Kennedy Brooks on a flyer. But yeah, give me all of A.J.
Texas
Brown. Give me
squad.
all of Devontae Smith. And Dallas Goedert, his production isn't going to change. He's he's a main function of that offense. So, yeah, I don't have a ton to say. I think you're kind of right. I do worry about Hurts losing running time, but if he does make that step up as a passer, then you're right. It won't matter.
It won't matter. He's got. I mean, so after looking, the team had 20 touchdowns. He had 16 passing touchdowns. So
Yeah,
that feels like a number that has to go up.
you would
And
think.
I mean, we all saw what he was playing with last year. I mean, Greg Ward and
Quez Watkins.
Travis Fulgham and Quez Watkins. Yeah, like,
New Packers pick up Travis Fulgham,
hey, yo.
for the record.
Maybe you can make it work.
The hottest waiver of that 1 week.
Yeah. That 1 week, that one time, that 1 year.
He's got name recognition now.
It's true.
But, yeah, let's get in the D on this, B.
Another, this team should be really good. I mean, adding James Bradbury from the Giants, ironically, slaps a patch on the biggest weakness of the Eagles. It was that second cornerback spot behind Darius Slay. Now you add James Bradbury in there. And this defense is just deep, bro. Fletcher Cox is a badass still. Jordan Davis isn't even starting.
Yeah,
Like
dude.
he's not even a starter yet. Like
Yeah,
that's
fucking-
insane
Damn.
because they still have Hargrave there in the middle, so you're not going to get rid of him. And then the only like maybe weak spot is like the inside linebacking core, and that's just because of Nakobe Dean being a risk because of the injury, but he's already playing his ass off, it seems like, and all the reports are great. So if he recovers, then you got a star there. This is going to be a hell of a team. And ironically, we've been talking about Hurts a lot. A lot of this is going to fall on him because this roster is built to win. So if he falls apart and they don't win, that's going to look really bad on him because there's not a lot of holes in this Eagles roster.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing with a free quarterback, you can really beef up the rest of the roster. I'm excited about the linebacker position, though. They got Kyron Johnson, Jayhawk. So,
There you
Rock
go.
Chalk. See
Rock
if
Chalk.
we can get it done. 6th round pick, but you know what it is.
Hey, should be fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, not a lot of holes when your backup quarterback's guarding your Minshew, you know what I'm saying?
That's true,
Yeah.
dude. The man,
does
the myth,
bring-
the mustache.
He brings in free agents for sure. People
Yeah.
come to play with. I just forgot his fucking name.
Gardner, man.
God damn,
Dude,
yeah.
we got a
Gardner
rookie
Minshew.
card we need to pawn off, so.
Yeah, it's true.
It's
It's been here it's just been sitting here for like a year. Oh yeah,
I'm
what
just
it
saying,
is.
I'm
You know
not-
what it
Oh
is.
yeah.
I'm not hoping for injury, but for our pocket's sake, Jalen,
That'd be
if it hurts, just sit, you know what I mean?
I think honestly, for Card's sake, I think him getting back to the Jags would probably be step one, and then being a Super Bowl MVP would be. Then we could sell this autographed Don Russ rookie
Yeah.
Minshew card.
That
It's
hobby
not even
box
a rookie.
grab.
15 out of 50. Well, you didn't have to make 50 of them, but I'm glad we have one.
Yep. Well, I think that wraps it up. NFC East.
Yeah, the NFL's NFC East.
Yes, exactly. How I said it.
The NFL presents the NFC East.
RDR presents the
NFL.
NFL presenting the NFC East.
That's right. Coming to an unaired noontime game near you. Well, shit, we're done. We'll be back for the AFC version of the Easterly action, and I know that's going to be a lot of Tim Dorsey, so
Let's go.
pack a lunch.
Peace.